Hello. Hi, welcome back to the new stream. Please let me know if you can hear me properly and if you can see me properly. That'll be very helpful, and then we can start. As I said last time, today I'm going to show you how to do a crew neckline, and I have a few tips to share as well when doing a crew neckline. I really hope what I will be sharing today will be useful for you. I'm just going to wait to see if a couple more people are joining, and then I'm just going to begin. Hi, Sabina. Oh, that's lovely. All right, then I'm just going to begin, and if people will join later on, that'll be great. If not, they will be able to watch this afterwards on YouTube. So today I'll be showing you how I like to do my crew necklines. So over the time, I've learned from different people a few tricks and a few ways to help you to have the most beautiful crew neckline. I believe that when you make a garment, and if it's a basic shape, at least it should be really well made. At least this is what we can all try. As you can see here, I already started a neckline. So basically what I'm doing is I'm going to be doing a little jumper for myself. I haven't made something for myself in a very long time, and I have this lovely cotton cashmere yarn. So this is the yarn. I purchased it from Todd & Duncan. It's redundant yarn, so that's dead stock. It's a 236 weight, and it's really lovely. I've used 3 plies for my jumper of this yarn, and it will be so nice. Tomorrow, if I manage to finish it, I'll be posting a picture so you can see the finished jumper. So it's just going to be a very basic crew neck, and I'm going to have dropped shoulder sleeve. So it's going to be really basic shape, but at least the neckline will be really nice. And I'm making this, the neckline will be quite deep because I want to wear it with turtlenecks. So I want to have, the space to see the turtleneck underneath. This is more for colder days. So basically for this particular one, I honestly do it very basically. Very basic. So I just drew my neckline, and I wrote down how deep my neckline will be, and is 10 centimeters, which is 50 rows in my gauge. So you have to calculate your gauge to see what is your dimensions. And then the width of the neckline is 82 stitches. Usually when you create a crew neckline, you will cast off in the very center at the base of the neckline around half of these stitches. So for example, here I have 82 stitches in total, and I'll be casting off 32 in the very middle, and I'm going to decrease 26 each side, and I'll be decreasing these. Usually it's really nice to decrease every 1 row for a few rows, then every 2 rows for a few rows, then every 4 rows for a few rows. So I've got, for example, how I divided this for this particular one. I have 10 decreases every 1 row, and then I've got 8 decreases every 2 rows, and then I've got 3 decreases every 4 rows. So this will give me a really nice neckline. You can see it's really basic. I just written down all my dimensions, and it's really, for me, it's really simple to do it this way. So in total, I'll be knitting 50 rows, and I've got 82 stitches, from which I'm going to cast off 34. So I've done this already. As you can see on this side, I have decreased already, and then I knitted also the straight rows. So after you finish your decreases, once I finished all these decreases, usually it's good to have at least 14 rows of straight knit. after, right there at the top when you join the shoulder, so you get a really nice and clean edge, and this will make it really easy for you to, when you want to link it, it will be really nice and smooth and straight and really neat. So basically I have finished half of my neckline, and I have pushed in holding position to up to the 30, oops, I think I missed a stitch, but I should have here 34, instead I have 33, but that's okay. It won't make such a difference. So basically I have 34 stitches each side. Yes, 34 each side, because I want to cast off. Okay, I made a little mistake. Okay, so basically let's say that I cast off 34 each side, and then I decreased the 26 stitches here. I think it's not really important the numbers right now, I just made a little mistake, but for you it's more important of how you do it rather than your numbers, because when you have your numbers, you know your numbers, and it doesn't really matter what numbers I have right now. But for example, right now I can decide if I want to cast off these stitches or put them on waste yarn, so I can then attach my rib. So for my jumper that I'm going to be making, I put all my stitches in the very middle. So these are 34 in total, which I should have had here. So that's 17 each side. I put them all onto waste yarn. So now when I'm going to attach my rib, it's going to be super nice and neat. And I'm going to also cast the stitches off at the same time when I'm putting the rib and I'm linking everything together. So basically now you can decide if you want to cast them off or knit a few rows of waste yarn. And I wanted to show you, so I'm working on this project with this lady, and I've learned so many new things from her, and she taught me a really cool way to cast off my stitches when I do a neckline like this. So for example, I have everything on hold. I'm going to put these on hold as well. Usually I would put this on waste yarn afterwards. This is going to be my shoulder seam. My scissors. Okay, so basically a good tip is if we want to, for example, cast off these in a chain stitch, what we can do is we can knit one row. I'm just going to push them all the way back up to 34. This is huge. It shouldn't be that big. Sorry, I should have done 34 in total, and I should have done 17 each side, but I messed up. I made a mistake. But that's okay, because this is just a trial. This is not my final garment. So if, let's say, your tension is tension 3, let's say if you knitted your body in tension 3, I'm going to be knitting one row in tension 6, so I will double that. I'm going to do 9 because my tension here is 6. I'm going to knit one row, only the stitches at the very middle. So I'm going to attempt to cast off these in a chain stitch. So I'm just going to knit one row loosely up to here, okay? And I love this so much. I'm going to push them all the way out back. And it would be great if you had a latch tool. I only have a needle, so I'm going to use this one, but there should be those special latch tools. I don't have one. I do have one for chunky, but that's not very helpful. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push this back with my tool. I'm going to grab the first stitch onto my latch tool, and I hope you will be able to see. Let me just try to see if I can go a bit closer, because this is really cool way and it's so fast. Sorry, I'm just going to move this a bit lower so you can see better. I hope this is okay. So I've got the first stitch onto my latch tool, and I have my latch tool open. I'm going to push the needle back, and at the same time I'm kind of hugging these two needles, and I'm going through, and now the stitch is onto my needle like so, and I'm just going to pull it, and this way you get a really nice clean cast off chain edge. And I'm going to do it again. Just gonna do a few times. I don't want to spend too much time doing this. Because I think when we cast off just the regular way, it just takes so much longer, and then the edge is not even so nice. I know I said I'm very, I really like to cast off with my linker. But for example, when you do production, if you produce a few garments, doing it on the linker will give you 2 more loose ends to tie in at the end, which makes the garment more expensive. So this is a good way to cast off. I hope you're able to see this. This is really, it could go really fast if you, once you get used to it. I'm still learning, but well, knitting is never fast, is it? So I'm just gonna show one more time. So my last stitch is onto my latch tool. I'm pushing my next needle slowly, and at the same time I'm making sure to join the 2 tips, and then I'm going through. Super nice and easy. And then when we get to the end, we can just also, when you do this, a good opportunity is to make sure that this edge here is nice and we can join them nicely. I haven't done it here because I forgot. Sorry, I'm nervous. I'm working under pressure right now. But you could go and catch the previous stitch from the side where you did your shaping. You grab that and then you pull the stitch through and you connect them. I guess you can do like that as well. Just when you link your rib, it will just make it look so much neater. That's okay. Okay. So let's say we cast off everything up to the point where we need to cast off, and then you put your needles back in action. Let me just move this. Sorry to move you like that. I'm just gonna assume that I actually had 17 stitches. So imagine these are, I'm just gonna put this onto waste yarn, just like I did with on my actual jumper. So my carriage into holding position. I have the knob clicked here. Then I would put this back onto hold. Snap my yarn. I'm going to have to cut this. I think I rushed it. I messed up a little bit here, but I hope this is helpful. If not, I can do this live stream again. But this is not really the thing that I wanted to show you. We will get to it back later on. I'm just curious. Any of you has a linker? Do you own a linker? Okay, so I'm going to push these needles into working position, just like so, and I'm going to knit 1 row. And a really nice tool that you can use is this one. So I think I purchased them from eBay for maybe £8, and I got loads of these. These are really, really useful. I'm using now a 5-prong transfer tool, and you will get a really lovely clean edge and a nice fashioning. So I'm using this to decrease 1 row. I'm going to knit 1 row. Okay, I'm going to stop now with this because this is just like we done even last time in our stream. So for this garment, I did 10 decreases every 1 row. I did 8 decreases every 2 rows and then 3 decreases every 4 rows. It's really, I think with the necklines, as long as they are done using a nice, at least a 3-prong transfer tool, and you cast off the middle part all in one go nicely. If let's say you've got to cast off 34 stitches, you will cast off 17 each side, but it's really good to do them all in one go, not do half and then the other half, because you will get a split at the middle. So for me, I think usually a neckline is about 20 centimeters, so you would want to cast off like 10 centimeters out of those, and then the rest of 10 centimeters you would decrease, and then you have to split that equally, or maybe not equally, but most of the decreases are every 1 row, then every 2 rows, and then every 4 rows. I think if you respect that, no matter how you do it, it will look super, super neat, and it just looks lovely, because it's a basic jumper. If you do a crew neck, it's basic, but it's beautifully made, and it's really nice to look at. Okay, so I'm just going to move on to the fun part now. So I have the jumper that I made. Before I'm going to attach my neckline, always join the shoulders first, so you can do the neckline all around in one go. I don't know if you're able to see. I'm just going to show you how I decreased here. So as I said, this is quite a deep neckline, and then I put the middle part in the waist yarn. Okay. And then I knitted my rib already, because I did this yesterday so I can prepare for the live stream, but I will show you now how to use your linker to know exactly how many stitches of rib you have to cast off. Before, I used to just I would knit a little sample of rib, and then I would just mock it onto my jumper like so, and then I would kind of roughly get an idea on how big it is. But I've used this technique, which I've learned it a while ago, and it's so much easier, and you know exactly. Just gonna push the machine a little bit. I'm just gonna grab my linker. There she is. Oh, a linker saves lives, I'm telling you. Okay. Oops. Hope you're able to see properly. Sorry about all the moving. Okay, so now when I want to calculate how many stitches to have for my rib, all I have to do is to just, for example, if I take the front, I already know that for this jumper I have 34 stitches in the very middle, and I want to learn how many. So for the front I have 34 stitches in the very middle, and for the back I have 68 instead. So for the back, usually I will do, if I shape, for example, for the front, if my neckline depth is 50 rows, my back will be 25, so half of that. So what I did here, I cast off 68 stitches, and then up to 82, I divided that into half, and I decreased over 25 rows, which is half, but obviously you have to go a few rows straight as well. So this is how I usually do it. So now I would just place so I know that I have 34 stitches here. So what I would do now, I would place as I would link it, I would just place the edge up to the shoulder seam onto the linker. I'm just catching the first stitch, just making sure I'm not pulling too much, I'm not doing it too or too close to each other, just to be nice. Okay, so now I have this side, so here's where I decrease, and then those straight rows. So what I would do right now, I will literally just count the stitches, how many I have, and because I did this yesterday already, I know that this side from the point where is my cast my stitches onto waist yarn, and then where I shaped up to the shoulder seam, I know that these are going to be 32 stitches. So so then I will know for the front I'm going to need 32 stitches of rib, and then 34 for the middle, and then because we have the same thing on the other side, I will know that I have 32 plus 32 plus 34 in the middle. So then I know exactly how many stitches for my rib for the front, and then for the back I'm going to do the exact same thing. I will place I mean, I don't need to demonstrate this again because it's basically the same thing, and I will do that. And then for the back, I know that I have 15 stitches for the part up here, and I have 68 in the very middle. So then when I start now, let's say if I actually really want to start, usually you will start right at the shoulder seam, so then when you connect the rib all the way around, the seam will be right here at the shoulder. So I'm just going to place this, I'm going to place the front first. I'm going to place the front, and I'm going to make sure that these will be 34 stitches. So in total for my rib, I have 196 stitches for the whole rib. I was lucky because I did the neckline really wide, but I was lucky enough to have it exactly as many needles as I have. Well, minus 4 because it was 196. If you don't have a linker, I mean, I would advise anyone to get a linker if they are able to invest in one. It's super useful. It's it literally saves you so much time. I'm just catching the very first stitch, making sure I'm going super straight, and I'm lucky enough to have put exactly 32 stitches here already, so it's correct. I'm gonna have the 32 stitches, then I'm gonna go and start with the part which is on waist yarn. Just making sure I go point to point. So now this is going to look really lovely once I have the, okay, I'm just going to leave it like that. And then for my rib, usually the edge will be up, the edge of your rib. And actually while we're here, I'm going to show you a little trick. You might be knowing this already. So when you remove your waist yarn from the rib, I'm going to just, so basically we skip the first, usually when you want to remove your waist yarn, you would chop the first row and you would pull through, but I'm going to chop the yarn of the second row. I'm going to do that both sides to make sure that the first row of waist yarn will remain in place. And I've learned that from my previous job, so now I'm going to just pull through and I'm going to remove the, and this is really good because you can, let me just pull that through. So now if you remove, I still have the first row of waste yarn. So now let's say when I'm going to wash my garment and I'm gonna pull it through, I'm just gonna make sure to, for example, if my garment is like this, then I'm just gonna pull and make sure it's nice and tight. It's really gorgeous. I'm going to post a picture with this garment tomorrow so you can see it. So I'm so excited because I never make anything for myself anymore. Just need to. While I do this, it would be lovely if anyone could. I think this is going to be a bit of a shorter stream, and I'm thinking maybe I'll do another one this month, just because this stream is shorter and I don't think I demonstrated so much stuff. Probably many of you might already know this already. So I would love to know what would you like me to do in these workshops maybe next time. Maybe we can do a fun stitch together, or any garment constructions that you're interested. Maybe we should do a v-neck. Should we do a v-neck maybe with a rib? I only done a couple of times a v-neck with a rib. I usually like to have a v-neck with no trim at all, because it's quicker to save time, but it would be lovely to maybe do that. We can do either a v-neck or maybe a fun stitch. Please let me know what you would like to see next time. I would love to know your ideas. But if not, I'll probably come up with something and I will obviously let you know. Okay. Oof, that lovely noise. I'm just gonna link it nicely now. My linker is a bit moody sometimes, and it bangs the needle onto the little peg, which is kind of sad. Maybe I can show a few ideas of how to add a bit of a detail on the rib, maybe some nice cables or something. That could be really fun as well. So here I'm just making sure to catch the first stitch so it doesn't so we don't have that opening. And again, I know that I just have the 34 stitches here for the cast off part, and now I'm going to have another 32 stitches. So that was my tip, really, how to put how to calculate exactly how many stitches when you have a linker. If you don't have a linker, there are other ways obviously to calculate. If you can mock up your there's lots of ways of doing this, but this is my favorite way of doing it, and I highly recommend everyone who can buy a linker to get one. It really will save you so much time and so much effort. So okay, oh, I can see that you would like to see a v-neck. Okay, I'm going to, maybe we'll do this month, because I feel like today, do you feel like you've learned something new today, or is this all stuff that you knew already? Okay, I guess we can do all of them. We can I can do the V rib, and then also maybe a few nice details. I think that's everything for today. I'm going to finish this up and I'm going to give it a little wash because its cashmere is going to be really nice and fluffy. Thank you so much for joining today. I thought that this was going to be a longer stream and I can give you more tips, but I hope this was useful for you. And thank you so much for joining. You don't have a linker. Okay. Linkers are really good. I can maybe think of some ways of doing a neckline without a linker. Did you ever try this before? Because there are ways on which you can do your neckline and then you can grow it onto the machine. Do you have a rib bed though? So you can create a rib. Because I guess I have a video on how to add a neck trim. If you don't have a linker, I'm going to share it tomorrow when I will post this onto the on Patreon. Maybe I'll share that video as well. It's really useful, and how to connect your rib onto your garment with a latch tool. This could be really useful for some of you as well, maybe. Okay, let's do this again. I'm going to announce, maybe we'll go again live this month again, because I feel like this live stream was only half an hour. Usually I would like to do them an hour. So let's do a V-neck. And maybe in a couple of weeks I'll do that again. And I will announce on Patreon, obviously, for everyone who wants to join. And I'm so excited. Thank you for being here, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.